all of a sudden, you see something happening in terms of civil society through NGOs and businesses now starting to work together to solve what are major problems. It's not just saving the orangutan, it's saving the forest. So it's got climate change implications as well. These things are holistic. They're totally holistic. And that's part of what I talk about in the book as connected capitalism. And it's what I call the triangle of sustainability. And it's bringing those three silos together to work effectively on global problems, but for business, only on the problems which are core and central to the business. And by the way, they may not just be global problems. I'll give you another Coke example, where one of the initiatives, which is a regional initiative, it's in Africa, is on HIV and AIDS. Coke doesn't play any real role in HIV and AIDS in North America, even in South America, even most of Asia, because the public health systems are able to cope with it and should. But Africa, it's a real problem. It's a problem in terms of not just the death of consumers, but also in terms of the intellectual capital that one loses in the organization. So again, there's a line of sight in terms of actually getting involved in trying to get education through, moving antiretrovirals around, etc. So in some specific cases, you get another business case, and it's a business case, to be involved in a problem which is very severe for the humanity that live in Africa, and therefore the company has to be a player. This is still, fairly revolutionary, because there are lots of companies that have not bought into this yet. But like everything, you've got to start somewhere, and it's growing. You've seen some of the articles by Michael Porter. There are other articles coming out with regard to how the three can move together. Governments are still a laggard, and I think they will be, and they have to be dragged along by civil society. But this whole thing, again, is enabled by communications. It's enabled by the internet. It's enabled by blogs. But it's interesting. There are some major benefits for the company that I guess intuitively we understood, but we never really dimensioned it. You want to see what happens to the engagement scores of the employees. We've got a number of Coke people here, and they know some of those numbers, nodding to some old friends here. We saw massive improvements in people's engagement with the company and the company's mission. They literally walked in the doors of the building and they felt good, better, about working for Coca-Cola. I would get emails from people who I didn't know. We're so proud of what Coke is doing, what the company's doing about water. And equally, the people in HR told us in terms of hiring, people were saying, well, 4 or 5 years ago I wouldn't have worked for Coke, but now, because your image overall has been improved, you're actually involved in major issues that you have an imprint on. Now we're able to attract into the Coca-Cola company people with superior skills. That was a benefit that we really hadn't thought of.